Thank you for tuning into today's Navigating Taxes update. Today's update is focused on the increased state audit activity in 2024 and 2025 and how voluntary disclosure agreements, VDAs, can help mitigate risk. To guide us through these developments, we're joined by Scott Brawdy, tax principal at Honkamp. Scott leads our state and local tax practice and has more than 25 years of experience advising businesses across industries and navigating complex multi-state tax issues. State tax audits seem to be on the rise. Can you explain what's driving this trend and what businesses need to watch out for?
Sure. In 2024 and 25, states have significantly ramped up their audit efforts. And in analyzing why, we've come up with, we feel remote work, digital commerce, and economic nexus laws, the changes that have occurred in those areas recently have created new revenue opportunities. And also states are starting to use AI-powered tools to find them. So in states like New York, California, Massachusetts, and Texas, they're leading the charge. New York, for example, has deployed AI to send out hundreds of thousands of audit notices, targeting businesses with inconsistent filings, rapid growth, or unregistered multi-state operations. And it's not just sales tax. States are auditing for corporate income tax, payroll withholding, franchise tax, and digital services and remote employee nexus. So if your business has expanded into new states or hired remote workers or sells digital products, you may already be on a state's radar.
Okay. So can you talk to us about what exactly should businesses be doing?
One tool that businesses can look at possibly employing is the Voluntary Disclosure Agreement, or VDA. And what a VDA is, it's a formal agreement between a business and a state tax authority, and it allows you to come forward voluntarily to remove past noncompliance before the state contacts you. So the key to these programs is you've got to come to them before they find you, because the idea behind it is you're coming to them and saying, hey, we'd like to get compliant on your tax rolls, bring tax revenue to your state, and if they found you before you try to do this, then that really takes a lot of your bargaining power away. So you're reaching out to the state to resolve past non-compliance before they contact you. In return, what the states will typically do is they'll limit the look-back period to 3 or 4 years. Why this is important is because if you don't file in a state where you've had a legal obligation to do so, then the statute of limitations never runs for those filings. So typically, a state, once 3 or 4 years have went by, a state cannot audit that tax return anymore. But if you don't file, then the statute continues to be open. And we've had clients get caught for going back 15 years in the past on things. And so under these VDA agreements, the state will limit the look back to their statute of limitations, which again is 3 to 4 years. They'll waive any penalties, and depending on the program, they may reduce or eliminate interest, and they'll allow you to register and move forward in compliance. And these are useful for businesses that have nexus in the state but never registered, or they've collected tax but didn't remit it, or failed to file returns due to misunderstanding or oversight.
Very good. So how does the VDA process work?
Well, under the typical process, what you do is you file an anonymous application with the state's nexus unit or nexus division, and you can do those on your own, but we typically recommend that you have a tax advisor write the letter and send that in on your behalf, because we know the best way to present your facts to the state, and we can write a favorable letter for you. And also this protects your identity while you negotiate terms. And then if the state is amenable to that, we'll draft a proposal which basically outlines what your business activities have been in the state, when you establish nexus, and what you estimate your taxes owed are. And then in the proposal, we would request a penalty waiver and limit the look-back period. And so once they accept all that, we would reveal your identity, file the necessary returns, pay the taxes and interest if needed, and then get you registered with the state and begin ongoing compliance. And this is going to include monthly or quarterly filings, maybe annual filings, depending on the tax type and how much tax volume we're talking about. So what I would say here is don't wait for a Nexus questionnaire audit notice. Once they contact you, you've probably lost the ability to take part in a VDA. They're not risk-free. I mean, you've got to have accurate data when we are submitting a VDA proposal because a large paragraph in those agreements typically state that you assert this is accurate information and that if you submit false information, it could void the agreement. And then some states might ask you to do a VDA for multiple tax types at the same time. So if you've got sales tax exposure, there's a good chance you could have income tax exposure. So they want to know all that. It's also possible to settle several states at once through this method. If you go through the Multi-State Tax Commission, they've got a program to resolve these liabilities simultaneously.
Okay, so why do businesses need to act now?
You know, I've started working with state and local tax back in the year 2000. Mm-hmm. And in that time, I will say it's gotten a lot easier for states to find companies who are in non-compliance. They're starting to use AI to detect discrepancies in filings, employee locations, digital transactions. It's really scary how they can cross-check information across various databases. Mm-hmm. States are sharing information together now. They have multi-state compacts. Iowa, I'm not sure which one they're in exactly, but we have neighboring states that are in what's called the Great Lakes Compact, and all those states share data about each other. Okay. So it's possible if you've got an employee in one state, 8 other states might know about it, and you might not even realize it. So the AI that's becoming a huge concern in my opinion. States like Louisiana, Colorado, and Alabama, they're simplifying their homeroom systems, so audits are becoming more centralized and efficient. And so what you want to do, I think the best advice we can give our clients is to review their Nexus footprint, look at where you have employees, inventory, or customers, assess your filing history, are there gaps or inconsistencies back there, and just consult a tax advisor, especially one experienced in state and local tax matters, and especially voluntary disclosure agreements. Voluntary disclosure is your chance to fix issues before they become costly audits, and it's proactive, strategic, and often far less expensive than waiting for a notice.
Excellent. Thanks, Scott, for sharing your insights on this important topic. That does it for today's Navigating Taxes update. If you have any questions or need help evaluating your exposure or pursuing a VDA, make sure to reach out to us. We're here to help.
I'm Scott Brawdy. Stay proactive, stay compliant.